Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick.
My final guest this week is Padraig Doyle from Sebz Restaurant. Padraig, before we discuss your new business, Sebz Restaurant, our listeners will probably best associate you with Cooper's Inn in Killinick. So what prompted you to sell that business last year?
Question of time, I think, Karl. It was after 20 years down there, really wanted to change and pursue a slightly different direction. The age I was getting to, I felt if I didn't make a change in the next couple of years, I would probably never change. And the pub business is a hard game, but Cooper's Inn was very good to us as a family and to me, and I wouldn't change a thing now, in fairness. But just the right time, and luckily, I suppose, we put the pub on the market and it sold pretty quickly. It was all done and dusted within 5 or 6 months.
Now, it was quite coincidental, the timing of the sale of that pub and the retirement from professional football of your brother Kevin Doyle at the time. And I know the rumour, certainly around the town at the time, was that Kevin and Padraig are going to join forces and do something together commercially.
Yeah, that was a rumour that I heard quite regularly. In fairness, any time I was chatting to Kevin on the phone, I was telling him we'd just bought this business and we've just bought that hotel and we've just bought this restaurant or that restaurant. So we got a good laugh out of that one. I spent a bit of time, myself and my wife Anne-Marie went out and visited them after Cooper's sold, and we had a good laugh over all those rumours. We aren't involved, I should say, in business together. Kevin would have worked actually in Cooper's when he was a young man, I think about 16, 17 years of age as well, for a summer. When I was away in Australia myself, I took a year out. Kevin realised pretty quickly that there was easier ways to make money, and he found that way through professional soccer, which was always his dream, in fairness to him, as a young man growing up. And he always said that people laughed at him as a kid when they asked him what he wanted to be, and he said, "I want to be a professional soccer player." They did laugh at him, in fairness, but he just proved if you believe in something and you work hard and you're dedicated, you can do it. We were immensely proud of him over the years. He's only retired a short time ago, but he's pursued his own interests and hobbies, and he has his own business interests as well, and we help one another out as best we can, and we maybe tap one another for a bit of advice now and again, and he's always there for me if I need to talk to him about things, and I'd like to think likewise. So that puts that rumour to bed maybe for you, Karl.
Now, Padraig, I know that you took some time out after the sale of Cooper's Inn in Killinick. What were you thinking at the time? To
be honest, it was a real cleared head. It was a bit of a whirlwind the last few months in Cooper's in particular, because I had known for a couple of months. Obviously, we had agreed a deal with the new buyers, and so I suppose I'd let the hair down a little bit, if you want, for the want of a better word. It was a long couple of months, but I think March 2017, the 6th of March actually 2017, was my last day in the pub, and went on a bit of a break with Anne-Marie. As I said, we went over to the States and visited Kevin and his family out there, where he was based at the time, playing soccer, and took a bit of time out, pretty much just to let 20 years of the pub trade kind of fade away out of my mind, out of my system. I think it was the best thing I could have done. It was a great summer. Wexford did quite well in the hurling. I enjoyed going to all the matches because, in fairness, the pub trade is difficult. It's hard work. Enjoyable, very enjoyable. It was very good to me, but you don't tend to get to take too many Sundays off to go off and watch games and stuff like that. So I really enjoyed the summer months, but you know, you do get eager again to get into something else, and we had Sebz is something we had in the pipeline and had in our minds going back quite a while anyway, that we had spoken about on and off, myself and Anne-Marie, and it was almost a natural progression as the year went on. And it was January 2018 we really got stuck into making it happen. Well, previous actually to that, but January 2018 was when the work really started out at the Stanville. And of course, your wife Anne-Marie comes from a family which is synonymous with hospitality here across the county. Absolutely, yeah. The Neville family, I suppose, construction is their main business, and has been, I think, for nigh on since her grandfather started William Neville and Sons Company 60 odd years ago, I think. But yes, they're heavily involved in the hospitality industry. Her extended family, they have a number of hotels across the whole Leinster region, and Anne-Marie has great background in all that business. She started herself working in the Riverside Park Hotel in 1998 when it opened. It's a brand new hotel. in Enniscorthy, which is owned by our uncle Colm, and so she has a lot of knowledge and experience in the hospitality trade, which she's brought to Sebz now as well.
So the name Sebz, where does it come from?
It comes from our 8-month-old son, Sebastian. I suppose it was almost a eureka moment. We were sitting at home. He was born on the 20th of October last year, and I suppose he's our pride and joy, obviously. The weeks after his birth were a bit of a whirlwind too, and we were also planning Sebz restaurant and discussing that and all various things that go with that, and one being the name. So after a number of discussions and Google searches and everything else, we stumbled upon Sebz. We shortened his name, put a Z on the end of it. We wrote it down, we put the restaurant underneath it, and basically not only was the name of the restaurant created, but also our branding and our logo and everything else all came in. It was, as I said, a eureka moment, and that's basically where the name came from.
So at the start of May, you launched Sebz Restaurant in the former Stanville Lodge premises in Barntown. Now, Padraig, I have to say to you, there are already many great restaurants in Wexford. So where did you see a niche in the market for Sebz?
Wexford is full of fantastic restaurants. Some niche restaurants that focus on a certain type of food, and some that try and, I suppose, cater for all tastes. Each one has their own uniqueness, I think, and you know, you certainly would never be stuck for somewhere nice to eat in Wexford and the general surrounding area. There's some fantastic places. I don't know, in the sense of where we could find a niche. I think we looked at it, we felt it's a difficult trade to master. I don't know if you can ever say you would master it. We felt there was something missing, in the sense that we always found if you went for food to a restaurant in Wexford, the food experience is fantastic, but you tend to get up from your table and move on, or be it the circumstances of restaurants, certain restaurants with size-wise and everything, they do need that table back again, maybe come 8, half 8, and the natural thing is to move on to a local pub or whatever and continue your night there. We're trying as best we can to create a Sebz as a destination where you might come out to us and spend your whole evening. If you arrive out to us at 7 o'clock, you can feel quite comfortable and relaxed and spend the whole evening, be it a pre-dinner drink or cocktail on our mezzanine, which we've purpose-built in the restaurant for people to go up. It's a beautiful lounge area to relax, listen to some nice background music, and you can come to your table when you're ready. And when you have your table in Sebz, you have it basically for the night. We don't feel that we would ask people to move on or vacate their table again. It's always, if people want to, they can go back to the mezzanine and have a drink up there. But it's really just somewhere that we feel that people can spend their whole evening there. We looked at it and felt certainly there's a certain demographic or age group out there that maybe that's lacking at the moment.
Why did you choose to locate it in the former Stanville Lodge as opposed to maybe choosing a town centre location?
That's a good question. Again, we looked at it. It's a little bit out of town, which some people probably think is a disadvantage. We find it an advantage in the sense that we're ease of access from the N25 from Wexford to New Ross. We're literally 2 minutes off the main road at Larkin's Cross. It's a beautiful premises, always was. The hotel itself is a fantastic building, very unique in itself, and we had a beautiful structure there to work with, Karl, a natural structure that we didn't have to change, only enhance or improve with. We've put a substantial investment into what was already a fantastic building in itself, with beautiful features, high ceilings, lots of glass. It's a bright, open restaurant that very welcome and very comfortable. The minute you walk in has been the feedback I'm getting from people. There's a really cool vibe about the place, which was what we were trying to create. I think it does have little disadvantage. Some people like to be in the heart of where the action is going on when they go out for their meal and spend their night in town. We feel if you come to Sebz, you can spend your evening there. If not, it's literally 10 minutes from town, and it's very easy for us to arrange transport for people back into town, be it a local taxi man or whatever.
And Padraig, for the benefit of those that haven't been out to see the restaurant yet, how would you describe the decor?
I'd describe it as, I suppose, modern, contemporary, Karl. It's I suppose, not trying to blow our own trumpet, but it's a really, I think it's unique. The feedback we're getting is really fantastic on the decor itself. As I said, we've invested heavily in it. There's nothing been spared. We believe it's a purpose-built restaurant. Everything from the minute you walk in the door to the facilities, the bathroom facilities, everything. Our kitchen is a state-of-the-art brand new kitchen that we've fitted in the restaurant, so it's almost a focal point that you can see while you're dining. You can see the chefs working without it being too intrusive, and it's not loud or anything like that. I think just to go by the feedback I'm getting, I think everyone is a little bit when they walk in, they're like, wow, this really is a fantastic place. They can see what we're trying to achieve with it by the decor alone, first and foremost, you know.
Now, menu selection and style is pivotal for any restaurant's success. So what was the idea behind the menu which Sebz now offers?
Well, I suppose, Karl, we sat down with our head chef, Harry Hoare, who has a lot of experience in the hospitality industry. And we looked at Wexford and the surrounding area, and I suppose we kind of did up a list of suppliers first and foremost with myself, Anne-Marie and Harry, and this is going back to last October, November, and we've looked at all those suppliers within reason in the Wexford area, and within about a 20-kilometre radius of Sebz restaurant. We provide almost all our food offering that's on our menu, and we try to base everything we offer on our menu around what the suppliers could provide us, be that fish, meat, lamb, chicken, you name it. It's I think almost everything comes from a 20-kilometre radius of the restaurant, and that's how we started to design our menu, and Harry just put it all together then himself.
And in order to bring the menu to life, you've invested in highly experienced staff.
Absolutely, yeah. It was the most important thing. When we again looked into staffing the restaurant, myself and Anne-Marie felt at the top level anyway, we really needed experienced staff that knew what they were doing with a number of years' experience in the industry. And again, I don't think they come much better than Harry, our head chef, who I suppose when he was a young man he trained actually in Patrick Doyle in Dublin, which is a very famous restaurant in the country. Harry came from there and moved on to the Lobster Pot in Cairn, again one of the best known and most famous restaurants, not just in Wexford but I believe all over the country. Harry was there for 22 years, and you know, when a guy like that becomes available, it's a no-brainer. It's something that I spoke to Harry initially in the early days, and he was very, very keen on the idea and very eager to come on board, and it only took 2 or 3 meetings with myself and Anne-Marie, and Harry signed up to the project. And once we had Harry in place, our next progression was to get our maitre d', and again Sean Tobin came on board, and Sean again has over 30 years experience in the hospitality industry. He's worked in various top-class restaurants around Wexford over the years, and just a really nice guy who is fantastic with people. The minute you walk in the door, you know, you certainly won't be lacking in a warm greeting from be it Sean or myself. You know, those people are very, very hard to get in the hospitality industry anymore, and between the two guys and our sous chef, our whole kitchen team actually, our sous chef Tom Doyle, our commis chef Niall Gall, and our younger staff, which are all local, younger, you know, which I'm a firm believer in too. They have to start somewhere, and they're all within I think about a 5-mile radius of the restaurant as well. You know, it's a really local feel to the place, very friendly. The first and foremost thing I want in them all is that they greet people with a smile and a hello. You can teach them how to carry plates and serve people in the correct way, but you can't teach a personality or friendliness.
And Padraig, you said earlier in the interview you're a people person, and I'm sure that anybody that knows you would agree with you in that respect. But how are you best utilising your skills then in relation to Sebz?
I think, I suppose over the years this is something I've got a lot of slagging out between Coopers anyway after 20 years there, but I like to talk. I certainly can't be accused of being shy. I don't know, it's a fine line sometimes, certainly maybe in the restaurant more so than the pub. It's something you can't infringe too much on people, and if they've come out to have an evening together, be it a couple or a family, they're in their own group, so you spend a bit of time with them, but then you got to let people enjoy their night, whereas the pub, you pretty much spend your whole night talking and chatting behind the bar. Even when you're very busy, you're still talking to people. It's a different game, but I've took a lot of slagging over that. But in the restaurant, I suppose my role is to watch everything that's going on, lead the team as well, but try and greet people as they enter the premises, and have a little chat with them and find out some little bits about them if I know them, especially if I don't know them, dealing with the customer, dealing with any little issues if they ever crop up, and just being the face of the restaurant, really.
Padraig, brunch is an emerging trend in the restaurant sector, and you're off to a flying start in that respect on Sunday mornings.
Yeah, that's something we really looked at, Karl. Going back when myself and Anne-Marie were researching this project over the last couple of years, we've tried a lot of places, be it in Wexford, or if we were on a holiday, or anywhere really in the country that we might have popped away to. We've always looked at the brunch thing. It's becoming huge, I think, in Ireland, where we start our brunch on a Sunday morning at 10:30. We do it until 12 o'clock, and it's gone really, really well for us. We then change over to lunch. We're trying to, I suppose, cater for both demographics there. It's maybe a slightly different age group, but I find the brunch, we're getting a great mix of people. It suits certainly people that not everyone's out having a wild night on a Saturday night and like to get up Sunday morning and have a leisurely breakfast and maybe read the paper, or come out with their young kids and have a little family morning out. But we found it to be really successful, and it's something we really believed in and wanted to do, and so far so good, so we will pursue it certainly for the foreseeable future.
Now, the weekends in most respects will look after themselves business-wise, but it's the midweek market that causes lots of restaurants challenges in small towns like Wexford. How are you going to overcome that challenge?
We're aiming to tap into the corporate market in Wexford, Karl, which is quite large. There's a number of fabulous corporate businesses in and around Wexford town that we certainly will be putting a massive effort into pursuing their business over the coming months, because they tend to have a lot of clients in Wexford during the week, and they're always looking for someone new or somewhere nice to eat, and that's the market we're going to try and aim for on Wednesday and Thursday nights, along with I'm sure, or hopefully will be, a regular local trade as well.
Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick.